WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. The threat of the coronavirus is having a major impact on nursing homes. Many of the homes in our area are on lockdown and have put restrictions on visitation. This means some aren't able to physically see or even interact with their loved ones anymore. Our Quentin Smith, he speaks with a Columbus woman directly touched by this policy change. He joins us live in the studio with her story. Quentin.
Yes, Scott, imagine being able to visit your loved one in a nursing home every day, then suddenly that changes. You're told you can't see them because you're no longer allowed inside the facility. Well, that's the harsh reality that Arlene Weatherby is now facing. And to make things worse, things are likely to remain this way for the foreseeable future.
Okay, I love you, Mom.
Warm laughter and conversation over a FaceTime call.
I love you.
This is the only way Arlene Weatherby can now see and interact with her mother.
I'm so emotional right now about it. It's just, I feel like I've let my mom down because she depends on me to come. And when I'm not there or when I come back, when I haven't been there a day or two, she'll say, "Where have you been?" And I can only imagine now what she's feeling.
See, her mom is a patient at Vineyard Court Nursing Center. When Weatherby went by for her daily visit last week, she found out she's no longer allowed to see her mom because of visitation restrictions surrounding COVID-19. Information she's still having a hard time processing.
Oh, this has been very hard. I don't sleep at night because I'm constantly wondering if my mom is okay.
It's been 5 days since Weatherby has seen her mom, and the uncertainty of not knowing when she'll be able to see her again only makes the situation worse.
I miss my mom. I know she misses me. I think that depression and loneliness from me not coming every day or one of my family members not coming would kill her quicker than the coronavirus.
The Columbus native is also worried that visitation restrictions are preventing her mom from getting all of the care she deserves.
I got a phone call today from my mother's hospice, and they were informing me that Vineyard Court told them from their corporate office, I believe, that they could no longer come in there. And I have a problem because it's an RN and a CNA who comes in to give her extra care that she needs. And Vineyard Court has yet to call me to say that the hospice is not coming.
Weatherby says she understands the extra measures nursing homes are taking during this coronavirus outbreak. However, she believes there should still be an exemption granting family members access to check in on their loved ones.
I think the ones who are the power of attorneys or the first person of contact should be allowed to come in maybe once or twice a week so that we can be reassured that our family member is doing fine.
On Friday, the federal government issued new guidance prohibiting all non-essential visits to nursing homes all across the country. We reached out to Vineyard Court. They declined to give a comment. Scott?
A tough time for families. Thank you so much, Quentin, for that report. Well, with nursing homes not allowing visitors at this time, many workers find themselves thinking outside the box to boost resident morale. At Windsor Place in Columbus, they're keeping patients entertained by playing various games like bingo and solitaire. Activities Director Kimmy Thompson says they also allow residents to call and FaceTime their family and friends. Thompson says the lack of visitors, it can be tough. That's why she tries to come up with new ways to help everyone get through this difficult time.
It's been a challenge, but you just got to get in there and do it and see, because some things may not work, some things may work, you know, and every resident is different. You know, what works for some might not work for others, so we're figuring it out, and the mood seems to be pretty good. Everybody seems to be in good spirit right now, so hey, yeah.
Hopefully they can stay in good spirits. Thompson says that they're being careful to follow all the recommendations from the CDC, such as social distancing and not gathering in large groups. Another group that is at high risk are people with weakened immune systems. Courtney Ann Jackson traveled to Leake County to meet a family who knows all too well what that means.
Andrew McCall is a 14-year-old boy who loves baseball and the Mississippi State Bulldogs, but his immune system is far from normal.
He has no reserves, as the doctor says, to get any kind of illness, any kind of virus. Even to get dehydrated a little bit is bad on him. He goes back into the hospital.
The hospital is where we first met Andrew and his family in 2014. He was receiving treatments for leukemia. He's in remission now, but the RSV, pneumonia, and multiple organ failure he experienced last year continue to keep him weak.
Anything in the world can happen to him. He can get the least little thing, and he is on the verge of, falling over the edge and dying.
His dad, Perry McCall, says because of that, he's living in a constant heightened state of awareness.
Is this the day I'm giving it to him? And that's what you live with. You can go out that door when I go work, when I'm out in the world, when I come back. Is this the day I bring it home?
The McCalls adjusted to a version of a new normal long ago, limiting exposure and sanitizing constantly. But in the midst of the coronavirus concerns,
It's either Andrew or it's going to be an Andrew that this is going to get.
to those who are frustrated you're being asked to stay inside, the McCalls say this.
A week ago, it is absolutely defendable that you do not know that. If you do not know it now, it is willful ignorance. Or worse, willful disregard to humanity.
I don't want to have to stay inside either, but I am to protect my son.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The area's only homeless shelter is feeling the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. The Tupelo Salvation Army is offering to-go plates for lunch and dinner. All seated dining in the community center has been halted for the time being. Major Ray Morton says staff are working hard cleaning the facility. He also says demand for space in the homeless shelter has increased as many people heed the warnings to stay away from public places and crowds. The major says there will be an increased need for other services as people face uncertain times with their jobs over business shutdowns related to the coronavirus.
I know that there's part of the increased demand right now is people are nervous and they're afraid to, and maybe if you were staying with someone, you suddenly find yourself not welcome there because of the fear and the isolationism. And while we want to encourage people to be safe, just understand that that is leading to a lot of that increased demand. People are more in need of food now, they're in need of sheltering, they're in need of a lot of different things.
Morton says there are many local agencies stepping in to help, and he also says that there will be a need for donations to the Salvation Army and other agencies as more people need help and services during these tough times.
Pretty nice out there today. We warmed up into the 70s, a mix of sun and clouds. You can see the day we had Columbus and Tupelo, Vernon and Louisville, a mix of sun and clouds, and then some of those puffy cumulus clouds there in Vernon and also in Columbus, looking more spring-like, more summer-like, and temperatures will be getting even warmer over the next 2 days. Down into the 50s in Oxford right now, most of us still in the 60s. West Point, 69. Still a bit of a breeze out there. So down to around 60 tonight. We'll see some of those clouds fill back in. 81 tomorrow, warming back up, if not that warm, around the upper 70s or 80 degrees here. The big picture going into the next couple of days, just warm air spiraling back to our north, or to the north, and that will give us some toasty days ahead. I'm back with that full forecast in just a few minutes.
Lowndes County closes its recreation facilities until April 1st. The Board of Supervisors, they met this morning to approve the temporary closure. Parks Director Roger Short says the opening date could be pushed back if necessary. Youth baseball and softball practices, soccer games and practices, classes and activities, and park rentals are also suspended. Facility rentals will be refunded. Now, this closure impacts all community centers, the soccer complex, and the ball fields at Lake Lowndes. A day after suspending the smart routes in Starkville, buses are back rolling again. Starkville MSU area Rapid Transit says it will operate with limited service. There will be one bus per route, and they will run from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. every day except for Sunday. Now, only 9 passengers will be allowed on the bus. Service will stop from 11:30 to 12:30 for cleaning purposes. Transportation to Golden Triangle Regional Airport will be based on flight schedules. Get It to Go, to help limit the amount of people in restaurants, downtown eateries in Starkville, they've coordinated a curbside service. Restaurants in the downtown area now have reserved spots for customers to park and pick up their food. Moe's owner says that restaurants are taking every precaution possible to ensure the health and safety of workers and the public.
We are starting our curbside delivery service, which our Mayor Spruill has set up for us. So we have designated parking spots out front. You can call it in. We'll run it right out to you. And yeah, we're making it as easy for you as possible as we can.
Now, he also says that the restaurant is taking every precaution they can to make sure that customers also feel safe when they visit. Starkville officials are also eliminating exposure for city employees. City Hall will be closed to the public for the time being. Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill tells WCBI they have gone down to essential staffing as of today in an effort to limit traffic. She says residents will only be able to pay their bills online, over the phone, or through a drive-through service. The coronavirus is dealing a double blow to Columbus Main Street. The spring's Noon Tunes concert series has officially been canceled, and the Friendly City's largest event is postponed until September. The 25th annual Market Street Festival will now be held September 11th and 12th. Hundreds of vendors, they participate in this festival. It draws thousands of people to historic downtown Columbus. Organizers say they're following the guidelines from the CDC, and they're committed to making sure that people here and those who would attend stay healthy. And at the state capitol, Mississippi legislators suspend their session until at least April 1st because of the coronavirus outbreak. Legislators say they're doing so on the advice of the state health officer. Lawmakers, they will vote to give city and county governments and local school boards the power to pay hourly employees who cannot work during emergencies. The Mississippi Board of Education, they'll have an online meeting Thursday to consider a request from State Superintendent of Education Carrie Wright. She wants the board to suspend accountability standards for the current school year. All right, we're going to send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, a picture-perfect spring day.
It was very nice out there this evening, especially nice if you could take advantage of it. We're going to be looking at some 80s for the next 2 days here. Now, looking back at climatology, we shouldn't really get to 80 and stay at 80 until late April and early May. You can see that there, but we have 2 days coming here that we most likely will be above 80 in many spots. Your full forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A great looking sunset this evening. Look at this picture over the past year. Larry Walker sends us that. I've been making a point to get out each and every evening when I can to take a little stroll around downtown Columbus. And hopefully you can be doing that in your location as well, as long as we have these nice days, these nice evenings. Perfect weather to be out and about for a little bit of a stroll. Earlier today in Vernon, our camera at Durham's Pharmacy caught the clouds moving down through some of those puffy cumulus clouds, taller and taller now, as the atmosphere is getting a little bit warmer as we get closer to the spring. And Columbus, you can see the clouds moving down through. And then this afternoon, some of those clouds puffed on up just a little bit as well. But all things considered, pretty nice Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day out there across our region. Here's Gizmo, our first alert forecast for tomorrow. And how about this? We start out around 60, mid-70s by noon, low 80s by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A mix of sun and clouds. Can't rule out a stray shower tomorrow, but we're really just keeping that out of the official forecast here. 20% chance or less here. Temperatures will be around 80 degrees, if not a little bit above that. Upper 70s to around 80 here in northeastern Mississippi, and for you into West Alabama. Southerly winds at 10 to 15. Highs most likely in the lower 80s. So what do you need when it's so warm out? Well, how about some sunglasses, some sweet tea, a big fan, and that lawnmower. Now is the time to get that lawn in picture perfect shape. We can forget about winter and just cruise right on in the spring and then into summer. It's only going to get hotter and more humid around here. We have showers and storms back to the west, and there was some severe weather out there in Texas today, some hail, and even a tornado reported. Now tomorrow, the best chance for severe storms will be out here in this big yellow and orange bullseye here across Central Texas and Oklahoma. As we get into Thursday, we will be watching some storms back to the west during the day. Some of that could get in here late in the night, Thursday night, but I really don't think we're going to have a lot of severe weather potential locally here with this system, which is always good news in March. Tomorrow in the morning when we wake up, low 60s in many spots, upper 70s to low 80s in the afternoon. Very mild Thursday morning, mid-60s to start, and then we're back into the low 80s Thursday afternoon. Can't rule out a shower or storm here. I think the better chance will be sometime Friday as that frontal boundary meanders back into the region. And we may see anywhere from about a half inch to perhaps 1 to 2 inches of rain in some spots here Friday especially. Not so much before Friday, but Friday the best chance of rain here. Here's your AccuWeather 70 forecast. We've got some 80s for the next 2 days, 73 Friday, around 60 for your weekend, some lingering showers around, but much cooler compared to the next 2 days. We'll rebound next week, and guess what? More rain and storms in the forecast.
Some good neighbors are helping area seniors, not only through the coronavirus outbreak, but all year. We meet them when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. Area grocery stores are having a hard time keeping the shelves stocked, but just getting to the store, it can be a hardship on some of our older neighbors. Couple that with advice to avoid crowds, and many seniors are finding it hard to just get by. Our Stephanie Poole ran into two groups trying to help them out in these trying times.
In the midst of the COVID-19 outbreak, there's one thing everyone is searching for: food. Rudy Johnson is the executive director for the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District. He says his staff delivers meals to over 1,400 elders per month, and he wants to make sure they don't go hungry.
To make sure that their home delivery meals are there and they get the services that they need.
He says the spread of the coronavirus is changing the ways they'll communicate with the people they serve.
We're going to limit the contact we have. When they get there, they will be called and say, we're here. We'll leave them on the porch. They come out and get them. The driver will leave. So we won't have that personal contact with them.
Several churches also have programs where they deliver meals. But with the recent outbreak, the senior pastor of Living Manna Church, R.H. Brown, says it's putting a strain on what they can do.
I feel like my hands are tied because there's such a great need now. We serve approximately 100 families per month, once a month. And my hands are tied because the numbers are growing. I get calls all the time, and it's hard to meet the goals.
Brown says a food truck will make a delivery at the end of the month, and he hopes it will reverse this problem.
In the midst of the pandemic, we feel our hands are so tied because there's so many needs, so many calls coming in, and we cannot handle it all. But we're going to make it. We are going to make it. We've been here before.
We want to make sure that these people are taken care of. That's our mission. That's what we do.
Just got to stay positive. Now, for more information on how you can donate, just visit our website at WCBI.com. Well, time to pack it up and wait until the fall. The SEC cancels spring athletics. More on that big decision next in sports.
Here's sports with Tom Ebel.
The official announcement sports fans in the South did not want to hear. The Southeastern Conference making the decision to cancel the remainder of spring athletics in 2020. All spring regular season conference, non-conference, and championship events have been canceled because of the developments involving the coronavirus. In addition to in-season athletics, the SEC says all spring football games have been canceled, as well as school-hosted pro days. Practices and team meetings are still suspended until at least April 15th. March Madness would officially begin on Tuesday. In light of college basketball coming to an end, one last women's basketball poll has been released. The final top 10 of the 2020 season, South Carolina finishing at number 1, followed by the Oregon Ducks. Mississippi State finishing the 2020 season ranked number 9. The Bulldogs finishing in the top 15 for the 6th straight year and inside the top 10 for the 4th straight year. In the end, 5 SEC teams were ranked in the final top 25. Mississippi State junior catcher Mia Davidson named SEC Co-Player of the Week for her performance in the win last week against Southern Miss. 4 for 4, 2 home runs, and a triple short of the cycle, setting a career high for hits in a single game. Davidson is the school record holder for career home runs with 52, which is also good for 8th among players active nationally. For the first time in 20 NFL seasons, Tom Brady will not be a New England Patriots. News coming down on Tuesday, Brady has agreed in principle to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a $30 million deal. It's going to be a little bit weird seeing Brady in the Bucs uniform, and he'll get to enjoy some state income tax-free paychecks. That's it for sports. Have a great rest of your night. We'll be back after the break.
Daytime drama fans, be sure to set your DVRs tonight. Today's episode of Young and the Restless will air overnight tonight at 1 a.m.
All right, weather-wise, we have some low 80s for you Wednesday and Thursday. Limited rain chances for the next 2 days. A better chance for some rain and storms on Friday. For your weekend, we're transitioning back down in some cooler 60s and lows in the 40s. More rain possible next week, Scott. So There's the way it's looking.
Hey, we like those 80s for sure.
Okay, they're back.
Thanks so much, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.